The Padres drop a heartbreaker 2-1 to the Cincinnati Reds in the rubber match of their 3-game series. Welcome into another edition of Friar Territory. I'm Kyle Glaser alongside Heath Bell. Heath, this was a tough one. There's no sugarcoating it. The Padres led 1-0 in the 8th. Adrian Morejon came in, served up the game-tying single to Elly De La Cruz. Miguel Andujar added the go-ahead RBI single, and the Padres were unable to mount a rally in the 9th. This is one of those losses that definitely feels like a gut punch.
To me, it feels like they got overmanaged or something. I feel like we tried to do too much instead of let the boys play. And yeah, I just don't. There's a lot of situations like, I believed in Hart early in the year. Why was he in the game? And then, like we've talked off camera, you said, well, he did his job. Okay. Then why did you take him out if he only gave up a bunt single?
I do want to dive in with you a little more on Mike Shildt. With the team kind of falling apart a little bit, there's starting to be a lot of blame cast on him. I will say that, look, Kyle Hart came in, did his job again. Strikeout, bunt single, that's going to happen. Got a weak grounder. And I do think it's the right call, bringing in Adrian Morejon, your best available reliever, to face Elly De La Cruz, the best player on the Reds, especially knowing that Elly De La Cruz is going to be batting from the right side, which he is way, way worse at doing compared to batting left side. I do think that move was the correct move. Just
then
Adrian Morejon, he didn't have it tonight.
Why did not bring him in? It's a one-run game.
Yeah.
And you're not bringing your best reliever in that situation. You're bringing in a long guy / starter.
I think realistically, because of the state of their bullpen, which again, we can talk about, we will talk about how they were managed early in the series and how that affected them in the finale. There weren't a lot of great options. I think David Morgan could have been a good option, but realistically, yes, keeping Adrian Morejon for the middle of the order, potentially in the 9th, or to get 4 outs, the last one, the 8th. I do think that was the right move. Again, he just didn't have it tonight and didn't execute. But Heath, I want to zoom out big picture here. Okay. The Padres have lost 4 of their last 5 series. They have lost 11 of their last 16 games. And I think the question on everyone's mind is this just a bad 2 weeks that every team has over the course of the season and it's just poorly timed? Or are we witnessing a full-on late season collapse? What are your thoughts?
I'm too early to say a full-on collapse. I just feel like the pressure is hitting to the coaching staff / some of the guys on the team. The pressure of, hey, we were in first place. We're out of first place. We're back in first place. We're out. Hey, we got a chance. The Dodgers are playing horrible. We got to step it up and instead of just playing baseball. And I'll give you an example. Like the last inning, Sheets gets on. Yeah. Why don't we bunt? I mean, we're basically playing to tie the game to go in extras, or are we just trying to go all out and win, even though the last 2 weeks have been great for us? It's been horrible. So I think that's where the frustration is starting to feel with the fans, and people are starting to say, is this a collapse like when they went and got Juan Soto and they didn't do well, they didn't mesh?
I mean, they reached the NLCS there. I do think that narrative's a little overblown. They reached the NLCS that year.
No, I get it. And I'm just saying that's what people are saying. And I'm like, I don't feel like it's a collapse. I just feel like the pressure is kind of getting to them. And some of the leaders in the clubhouse need to step it up and just say, hey, guys, let's play baseball. Forget about all this other stuff, distractions. Let's play baseball.
Yeah, depending on the outcome of the Dodgers game tonight, that game is currently ongoing. The Padres could potentially fall 3 games back of the Dodgers. The other concerning aspect here is they are now closer to the number 6 playoff seed than they are the number 4 playoff seed. They are starting to fall back a little bit just in terms of games in the playoff pack. Again, the Mets are not playing well either, so the Padres spot doesn't feel super threatened at the moment. That said, if you keep losing 11 of 16 or that pace, it's not going to last very long. Heath, I want to go back to what you just said about the leader stepping up. We have seen the starting pitching staff. That was a major problem for about a week and a half stretch. They have stepped up. After the Padres had a starter complete 5 innings once in a 9-game stretch, during which they went 2-7, unsurprisingly, their starters have now completed at least 5 innings for 6 straight starts, a full turn through the rotation. Nick Pivetta tonight was absolutely fantastic. The Padres Padres needed him to go deep, and he did. 7 scoreless innings. Of course, Ramon Laureano helping out with a home run robbery to end the 7th. Just a tremendous moment there. They are getting what they need from their starting pitching. Their bullpen, for the most part, has been doing a good job, although the bullpen was tagged with a loss each of the last 2 nights, and we'll talk about that more in a second. But I really do think at the end of the day, the offensive execution to win just isn't there. And it's very easy to cast blame on a manager because that's something people can second guess very easily. What they can't do is say, oh, I could go out and hit better than these guys. The Padres scored 7 runs in 3 games this series. They went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight. They had 2 on 1 out in the 3rd inning, got nothing. They had 2 on none out in the 4th inning, got nothing. They had the game tying run on 2nd tonight, got nothing. At the end of the day, if you score 7 runs over a 3-game stretch, you are not going to win that series 99 times out of 100. So as much as we can talk about, bullpen usage and managerial decisions and all these things, I really do think it comes down to the offense right now is just not performing. They're not executing. And when you have a 2 to 3 run per game offense, which is pretty much what they've had everywhere outside of Coors Field, you're not going to win. It's that simple.
Well, here I agree with you. The offense is the major issue the last couple of weeks. But I will say, as I've managed some teams in college teams in high school, and I've been in the big leagues. When the offense isn't hitting, it's up to the manager, and Mike is doing this. And I just, that's why people are questioning Mike is you have to do something with the offense to shake it up. You have to bunt. You got to move guys. You're trying to, mess up the lineup a little bit to shake up the lineup to get the guys swinging the bat again. Because the worst thing to do is, well, my guys aren't hitting. Let's just keep them out there. So, and it's a big thing. And I just think I'm not blaming Mike. I'm not blaming the manager, the coaches, but I will say this is where they get paid, because they've got to do something with the hitters. The hitting coach, you got to try something different. It's not working, whatever is working. And, go back to spring training, whatever was working back then. And then Mike is trying to switch things up. And when you switch things up and Mike is doing that, sometimes you make mistakes. And I just feel like today's game, he just tried a little too much and it just didn't work out in his favor. And I think he overmanaged. I mean, it just here's the thing. Hart came in and did a good job, but why can't he finish the inning if he's doing a good job? That's my one take on that. So if he's not going to face their best guys, if he gets into any trouble whatsoever and doesn't go 1, 2, 3, you're going to bring Adrian in. Well, why didn't he just come in the game if he was your best option, to go 1, 2, 3? So, but then, that's just my question tonight. And I think other nights, I just think the pressure's getting to everybody. That's all. And it's okay. I think Mike's strong enough and he's smart enough to be like, hey, I took the L this game. Don't worry about it. We'll be back tomorrow. So I'm not saying he's a horrible manager or a horrible coach. I'm just saying I think he got the L tonight. That's all. But I say the offense is a problem. And those big red bats in wiffle ball, that's what we need to get our offense. Or those Yankee bomb bats.
The torpedo bats from early in the season. Yeah,
let's try that. I mean, try something.
So at the end of the day, look, this offense is the reason why the Padres lost this series. They were held scoreless. The Reds gifted them a win in game 1 by pulling Nick Lodolo. The Padres cannot hit high-end lefties. We know that. Kyle Freeland just carved them up. Nick Lodolo carved them up. Andrew Abbott tonight, 8 innings, 1 run. Solo homer by Fernando Tatis Jr. is all they can muster. I think from a managerial perspective, where you could start asking some questions this series. First and foremost, we have to acknowledge the Padres needed Jason Adam this series. You really, really saw his loss play a big, big role in this series. The Padres needed that one extra high leverage arm a few times, and they just didn't have it. Where I go back to is, so first and foremost, Mike Shildt did a great job managing game 1. They won that in 10 innings. What I felt like was the questionable move was in the second game of the series. Bringing Robert Suarez in to pitch on the second of back-to-back days after he had thrown an inning and 2/3 the day before. And Heath, I want to dive into this with you because you were a closer. getting up and down as a closer is not something that is super common. And I thought that bringing him in again on Tuesday after he'd gone an inning and two-thirds and gone up and down, even though it was only 15 pitches, I thought that was a mistake. And I'm not saying that in hindsight. I was sitting next to my friend Dennis Lynn in the press box, and they brought Suarez, and I said, this is not a good move. And you say, well, who should they have brought in? I think you have to exhaust all your other options before you do that. Suarez served up the 2-run homer. And then, of course, with that, he's no longer available for the Wednesday game. I thought that was where a mistake was made. What were your thoughts on bringing Robert Suarez in, second of back-to-back days, after he had pitched an inning and two-thirds the day before? Not just one inning, but an inning and two-thirds and gotten up and down.
Well, see, if he's been your guy all year and you trust and you went and talked to him and he said he was ready to go, then I don't think it was a bad decision. But I will say it seemed like Robert Suarez had it and then all of a sudden just lost it. Yeah. And then I feel like he's in that rut now where he's just throwing fastballs. And that's where you have to realize, okay, wait a second. But it is, I've been talking to my kid about this. Like Trevor Hoffman, he's the veteran when I came over, and he would go 3 days and be shut down unless it was a playoff race. Yeah. And it seems like guys don't go 3 days anymore. I don't know what's the reason, especially like playoff race. Like Robert Suarez should have been up tonight. If that's your guy, or even Miller should be up tonight. Or Miller, you could have said last night, well, I'm going to pitch Miller 2 innings in a row, and then I'm going to shut him down. And then I'm going to need Robert to go 2 innings. This is last night. And then they're shut down for the third game. So it's a hard, that's where you second guess the manager and you're like, okay, this and that. Hey, if it worked out, it worked out. But like you said, at the end of the day, if we don't score, it doesn't matter what the pitching, dude. The pitching's good enough. And I was on some good bullpens and good pitching teams where we did not score. And it was like, man, as good as we are, we can't win the game. We need to score. So
and that's the thing. The Padres pitching staff, on the whole, whatever questions you might have about Mike Shildt's usage of a certain reliever at a certain point, the Padres pitching staff held the Reds to 10 runs in 3 games. Normally, if you do that, you should win that series. But they only scored 7 runs. And at the end of the day, the offense is just not getting the job done. And Heath, there's one very, very key member of the offense who is scuffling badly, in particular, to the point the Padres really might need to do something about it. We're going to take a quick break, hear a word from our sponsors, and dive into Manny Machado. Football is back, and so is your shot at big wins. With DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, your game day instincts can score you real money. Here's how. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite QBs, and unlock the upside every snap brings. Here's the kicker. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call, ride the upside, in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. All right, Heath, we've talked about this offense's struggles, and to be clear, it is not solely the responsibility of one person. A lot of their key hitters are not performing right now. That said, we know that Manny Machado, at his best, is the best hitter on this team. And he carried this offense through March, April, May, June, July, when everyone else was up and down or really, really struggling. But since the start of August, Manny Machado has not only been the worst hitter on the Padres, he has been one of the worst hitters in Major League Baseball. Since August 1st, Manny Machado is batting .193 with a .255 on-base percentage and a .297 slugging percentage. Both his batting average and OPS are bottom 10 out of 155 qualified hitters in Major League Baseball since August 1st. He has been, objectively, one of the 10 worst hitters in baseball for 5+ weeks now. During this stretch, he has not taken a single day off. And I would ask you, what's the problem? But we know the problem. He is gassed. It is painfully apparent to anyone who has been watching him over the last few weeks at the plate. He is completely and utterly gassed. He takes a lot of pride in posting and playing every day, no matter how hurt he is, no matter how tired he is. But at this point, this version of Manny Machado is doing the Padres more harm than good. How do you think the Padres should handle this? Because Manny is not going to want to take a day, but at this point, this version of Manny, again, is not only not helping the Padres, he is hurting them.
Well, see, you also have to say that how many times he's stricken out, because he averages like 1+ strikeouts a game right now. And here's the thing: when's the last time he took a day off?
He hasn't this season. He hasn't, not one.
So if is he trying to get the Cal Ripken streak? Is he trying to get some streak or something going on? Because here's the thing: every great hitter that I know of that has been in a struggle, they got to do like, they got to, choke up, they got to slap the ball, they got to bunt, they got to do something. Maybe Mike's like, hey, look, I respect you, Manny, you want to stay in the game. Hey, I got to drop you to the 5th. Let's drop you to the 4th. Just one spot. I mean, he's hitting 4th most of the year, and then he went to 3rd. So let's drop him down a little bit. You got to, I mean, at the end of the day, are you going to treat Manny different than everybody else?
Yes, I mean, they do, and they have for years, which we can debate whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But
yeah. My thing is, like, you have to literally talk to him and say, look, you're hurting the team right now. And I'm not necessarily saying take a day off, but let's try the DH, or, hey, let's choke up let's try something different up to bat. Let's try to, if there's a guy on, slap it, bunt it, do something different, because sometimes hitters will say, you change it up one at bat, and it might get you, that CNI single, that bunt, or this and that. It might get you out of that funk, because you could see, I mean, he's striking out, he's swinging to miss a lot, he's exhausted, and he's tired.
Yeah.
So I see that. So it's like we're going right after him because he doesn't have the strength that he normally does.
Correct. So I want to mention a few things here. I asked Mike Shildt about this following the game Tuesday, and he gave kind of a non-answer that, Manny's Manny, and he's carried us for so long, and he'll be fine. And Manny Machado, to his credit, owned up to it after the game Tuesday. After another 0 for night, he acknowledged that he is struggling right now. He's just trying to find ways to help the team win. And to his credit, he has been very, very good defensively. It's not like he's struggling at the plate and carrying it back out onto the field with him and moping. So I want to give him credit. He's owning it. He's being accountable for it. He's still playing great defense. When I say Manny Machado is gassed and it's painfully apparent, what I mean is you watch his at-bats. He is late on velocity. He is diving at secondary pitches. It's an upper body rotational swing. His swing is long. He is not in his legs at all. It is everything you see when a hitter is completely gassed. And there were 2 moments that really just crystallized it in that Tuesday game in particular. Early in the game, he got a 93-mile-an-hour fastball thigh high down the middle and fouled it back. And then in his final at-bat, with the Padres tie game, he had a chance to drive in the go-ahead run. He got a hanging 86-mile-an-hour breaking ball. That was as perfect as you can ask for a pitch to hit 400 feet into the left field stands. And he popped it up, which didn't say popped up. He hit a weak fly ball to left field. He just does not have the strength, the bat speed, the timing, anything to do any sort of damage on any kind of pitch right now. And we are seeing that in the results. And he needs a day off. I mentioned this going into the Colorado series. What they really should have done is given him a day off that Wednesday day game following a night game, and then they had an off day that Thursday. So he would have had a full 48 hours to just rest, recuperate, reset. They didn't do that. Now they're in a stretch of 10 games in 10 days. Again, finding a situation where he can get a day off and then that goes into an off day, again, just for a reset. He needs that badly, and the Padres haven't done it. And you mentioned, do they treat him differently than others? The answer is yes. Manny is a very, very forceful personality. He's a big presence in that clubhouse. And this is what I want to really drill down with you on, Heath. If you're Mike Shildt, if you're a player in this clubhouse watching what's happening, do you want Mike Shildt to go to him and say, Manny, I know you don't want to take a day off, but we're sitting you for a day, not even a DH day. You need a full day off to rest and recuperate. I know you're not going to like it, that this is what we have to do. As a player, would you want that to be done?
Well, it's kind of hard because did Mike go and ask him and say, "Hey, I feel like you need a day," and Manny's going, "No, I'll be fine."
That is
So
Manny's default answer, for the record.
but behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So it's a catch-22. Mike, are you going to just say, "Look, I need you to take a day. Like, I need you to do it." Or is he just willing not to do it? Or are they not having that conversation? So that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Here's the thing is, I think if you drop him in the lineup in just fourth, nobody's going to think any wiser. He gets a little bit less at bats, but I would be in the batting cage. Hey, Manny, we gotta switch things up. Are you willing to choke up? Are you willing to do this? I just need you to get base hits. Forget about home runs right now. I just need you to make solid contact. Maybe Manny, let's say he's batting his you got to try a bunch of things. Batting practice. Is he having good batting practices, or is he missing it during batting practice? Because maybe just 3 days, I don't want you to take batting practice. If he's willing not to take a day off, because that's the hard decision of everybody knows he needs some rest, but maybe he doesn't see it.
It's not maybe. That is the case. Manny Machado, again, takes a lot of pride in posting every single day, again, no matter how tired he is, no matter what injuries he's nursing. And I want to be clear, it is incredibly admirable. In a game where so many players, the slightest hint of an injury, shut it down, he goes out there and does everything he can for his team and his teammates day in and day out, no matter how he's feeling personally. And that is incredibly admirable and a big, big source of his leadership in that clubhouse. But there is also the balance of having to realize when you're doing more harm than good.
That's what I was going to say. Sometimes as a leader, hey man, I'm going to be rooting for you, but I need a break, and then I'll be back out there. That's when a true leader says, "Hey, I need a break." Or you go to the manager in that night game, day game. This is the game I need a break. Because they'll give me almost 2 days where really it's just 1 day. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
He's just not going to do that. So the question is, as the manager, do you risk alienating him and ticking him off, even though it's the right thing to do?
That's the thing is you need to have – here's the thing. I've talked to them before. You and the manager, and I've talked about pitchers and relievers. Yeah. You and the manager need to have a really good relationship where you trust the manager and the manager trusts you.
Yeah.
Where if the manager comes to you and say, "Hey, I know what you're trying to do, but we need to give you a break," that you go, "Man, I really want to be out there, but I trust you. So I'll believe in you. I'll trust because you're going to believe in me down the road."
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're doing that right now. And Manny, if the Padres are going to do well, it's because Manny's going to be a part of it.
Correct.
I'm not saying Manny's the reason. We need him to hit. If he was hitting 200, we'd be winning some more games. And he's not even hitting that. So I don't know. It's just hard because is he just doing the same old thing and the hitting coach wants him to do different, or is he trying other things? That's the part that I'm not in the clubhouse. I don't know. And I know there's been guys in the past that are like, "I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out." And I'm like, dude, just why don't you do what the other guys do?
And again, that is generally Manny's default. Hey, I can work through anything. I can figure it out. Which again, he has earned that right in the sense he's a Hall of Fame talent. He has produced year after year after year. And again, he carried this offense for 4 months. But again, this is a tricky dynamic just with how big of a presence he is, how forceful of a personality he is, and how the rest of the clubhouse follows his lead, that if you do tick him off, it could send some things in a bit of a downward spiral. But if you continue doing what you've been doing and just continuing to run him out there, you're not going to get the best version of Manny Machado for the rest of the season. And if you're not going to get the best version of Manny Machado for the rest of the season, you are going to actively hurt your chance to not only win games, but again, you're going to really, really risk making the playoffs. We're already seeing the Padres start to drop. That gap is starting to drop between them and other teams. And it's only going to continue if they just keep doing the same thing they've been doing over and over and over again with their best, most impactful player.
So here's another situation. You don't start him a game, and then you bring him in as a pitch hit late in the game. That might get him going too.
Yeah. We'll see. And again, in terms of the rest of the lineup, tonight we did see what is the Padres' potentially most impactful offensive lineup. Jose Iglesias got hit on the hand by a pitch in Tuesday's game. He came in late as a pinch runner, but again, just x-rays were negative, but he's day-to-day. You don't want to push it. And because of that, we saw Jake Cronenworth at shortstop, Luis Ariz at second, Ryan O'Hearn at first, Gavin Sheets DH. A lot of what we've talked about, having the best possible lineup out there, being willing to sacrifice some defense for some offense, given how poorly the lineup is performing. But it still didn't make much of a difference. They still scored one run. They still left way too many men on base, aside from a Fernando Tatis Jr. solo home run. And that has been one promising development. Tatis has as many homers in the first 10 days of September as he did all of July and August. But on the whole, as a unit, it's just not clicking. And they have to get Manny Machado at his best for this offense to be at his best, and just continue to run him out there and say, well, he's Manny, he wants to play, and we don't want to tick him off. I get it, but it's just going to be the same result over and over and over.
But then, and again,
so tired. Everyone can see it. Everyone can see it.
And I guess I'm playing devil's advocate right now, but then who's the manager? Is Manny the manager or is Mike the manager? So who's making the decisions?
And that's where, again, this is going to come down to management, whether it's the front office, Mike Shildt, his coaches, doing what everyone knows they need to do. And let's be clear, I've had this conversation with Padres front officials. They absolutely know exactly what's happening. They're clear-eyed about this. I've talked to some people on the Padres coaching staff. They know what's happening. They are clear-eyed about this. Everyone can see it. You don't have to be a scout to see that Manny Machado is completely gassed in the batter's box. And this is where, again, this is where you probably do need your coaches and your manager to kind of step up and do the unpopular thing in the players' eyes, but knowing it's what's best for the team.
But here's the thing. If Manny takes offense to that, then there's a bigger issue.
Yes. And this is where it's that delicate balance of keeping your star players happy while doing what's best for the team. And that's why I asked you, and you presented the middle ground, which is, let's change some things up. Maybe he comes in as a pinch hitter. Maybe he moves down the order. Maybe he changes his routine. That is the middle ground. Whether it will be effective, I don't know. Because again, I think you just can't, no matter what you do. I shouldn't say no matter what you do. If you alter your pregame routine, maybe at 7 o'clock, you have a little more strength in your legs, but he just doesn't have it right now.
I don't know. Maybe drink more Red Bulls or something, Which energy drinks? If you're drinking Red Bull, go to Monster.
Yeah, we shall see. So again, the Padres open up a 4-game series now against the MLB worst Rockies. They will try to get back on track. As we mentioned, they have lost 4 of their last 5 series. Their only series victory in that span was the series win over the Rockies in Colorado. We will see if they can get back on track against the worst team in baseball. We're going to take a quick break, and then we are going to bring some more energy and positivity to the show and break down in full Heath's return to Petco Park as a member of the Savannah Bananas. Stick with us.
We are longtime fans of Omaha Steaks, and I am drooling looking at the website right now, featuring USDA certified tender steaks, and also during their Red Hot Sale event going on right now this fall, 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, for the FT fam, an extra $35 off with promo code FOUL at checkout. You've been a big fan of Omaha Steaks since your early days as a pro.
Brings me back to my low A-ball days, because we used to survive on this. We get a big order at the beginning of the year, cook them on our little electric grill, a can of peas, some mac and cheese. That was dinner for 4. We survived off Omaha Steaks. It still has a special place in my heart.
You thrived.
Well,
you guys ate like kings.
Yeah.
That's special. Get fired up for fall grilling with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Red Hot Sale event. And for an extra $35 off, promo code FOUL at checkout. 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code FOUL at checkout. See site for details. Dig in.
All right, Heath. So Petco Park has been a little bit of a depressing place recently. The Padres have dropped 5 of their last 6 home games to the Orioles and Reds. However, over the weekend, on Friday and Saturday, there was a lot of positivity, a lot of excitement. The Savannah Bananas came to town, and you made your grand return to Petco Park as in the Friday game for the Savannah Bananas. First and foremost, big picture, how was the experience for you?
Oh, the experience was great. I played against the Bananas 2 years ago with the Party Animals, And it was really, I was thinking, man, I'd really kind of want to play for the Bananas, but whatever. I got to play banana ball. It was pretty exciting. It's different, but it's fun. And then Jesse called me up a couple months ago and asked me to keep it secret and to go out there. And, then Matt, the grounds crew, was like, please don't slide in the grass. So we kind of compromised and slide in second base and go out there. And it was exciting wearing the yellow. And it was almost like getting called to the big leagues, but a lot more fun. I got to do the floss. I got to dance on the field. So it was a good time. It kind of bring me back to the youth. I was like a kid again. And gosh, I want to play with them more. Or, I know there's 2 new teams that are coming this winter for next year. Maybe I can manage one of them or something. I don't know. I'm looking for a coaching job. So if I don't coach in pro ball, maybe I'll go coach banana ball.
Be player manager, like old school, 1920 style.
Oh yeah, I could totally do that. I'm definitely old.
So I want to break this down kind of frame by frame. So as you came out, what played on the broadcast was a montage of you actually sliding into the mound at George Steinbrenner Field in Tampa Bay with a couple of other players sliding into the mound behind you. When was that filmed? When did that happen?
That was okay. So 2 years ago, the MLBPA got to play a game against the Bananas. During batting practice, we looked like we were going to win, but we can't hit. And the guys couldn't hit. And then then they kind of mixed the party animals with a couple of us in Tampa. And that was 2 years ago. It was towards the end of the season, like, I guess August-ish, probably the same time, September, August.
Yeah.
And then it actually rained that day, so it was a delay. But then the Bananas beat us like 9-0. It was a bad. We lost every inning. We didn't even like tie an inning. We lost every inning, and it was really bad. So one of the things I brought all my jerseys, and I'm like, guys, we're gonna wear all my different jerseys, and we're all gonna slide on there. And then when we go, we all threw one pitch, and then I finished and pitched the inning. But that's where that came about. And then I got to come out of the dugout.
Yeah.
And Trevor got to pitch on Saturday, and I'm telling you, I got chills when I played with him. Yeah. I was the setup guy when Hell's Bells, and I could, I was getting chills again watching him on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even hear the song because the crowd was nuts. And the crowd was, nuts for me too, but I feel like, he's a legend.
Yeah.
But I think he was more nervous pitching than I was, because maybe I've done it, or I'm just more of a joke around fun guy.
You're more of a showman. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, you could probably say that. And he was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to throw it from the mound. And I was like, go to the edge of the grass. Nobody's going to care. So, but it was fun. It was a great time. Like I said, it's going to go down one of, like I have Maddox on my wall. There's a good chance next season, because I don't know if I'm going to get to it this season, the banana jersey is going to be on the wall.
Nice.
And it's one of those moments that I have to put up there on the wall, because it's an amazing time. I'm very thankful and blessed to have a chance to play with them, because it's so much fun. It really is.
So I do have to ask, it was the 6th inning. You came out of the dugout. Trevor got to come out of the bullpen. Was there any discussion about having you come out from the bullpen, and how did it end up being that you came out of the dugout?
Well, they kind of want so the dugout was to save me, because it was like a short and I could slide on the dirt, and then they kind of wanted Trevor to come from the bullpen, to kind of make the entrance, because I'm number 2 at all. I'd say the 2 best closers in San Diego got to play, with the Bananas.
I would agree with
Trevor's
that.
number 1. And you gotta, I respect that. I feel like I always tried to be number 2, and I am, but Trevor's up here and I'm down here, and I'm going to leave that for him, because, like I said, he's the Hall of Famer, the legend. He should come from there. And,
sure.
Where he was walking, they told him, if you want to walk, you can, pull the Lee Smith. And he started going, it's like, this is going to be a while. I got to jog in. It was, I almost said, why don't I come from the grounds crew side, from the other side, and I'll just sprint, kind of like the All-Star game, because it wasn't left field.
Yeah.
But They just were like, oh, let's just go from here. It'll be a little bit easier. I'm like, okay.
So you come in, you touch first base, you slide into second base. Was that spur of the moment, or did you have that planned, weeks in advance?
No, as soon as I got in the locker room. So
Okay.
are you going to slide? You going to slide? Everybody asked me that. So even the firefighters that we were playing, like, you going to slide? So I was going to slide in the mound. And then I was talking to Mike, the ground crew guy, and he just looked at me. He was like, no. And then I was joking with him and like, I can't hear you. And then he kind of pulled me aside and was like, no. So we had a friendly discussion. He's like, slide on the dirt somewhere. So I was like, what about second? Then I asked some of the guys and they go, that would be epic. And then there was 2 guys on base. So it just kind of migrated into that. I originally was I was willing to do whatever Jesse and them wanted me to do. I didn't really have a plan. Everybody asked me, my wife and kids, are you going to slide? And I'm like, look, I'm just going to whatever they want me to do, I'll do. And then basically all the players wanted me to slide, and it kind of turned into that.
So there's obviously a lot of videos out there about your entrance, you coming out, the cheers, sliding into second, but nothing's actually showing your performance. You have to actually go back and watch the full stream of the game. So all that happens. You still have to come in and get an out. You're facing a hitter who has some power, and you fall behind 2-0.
Well, so this is what happened. I'm like, I'm just not going to groove one in there. So first one I threw a curveball, and I was trying to throw it inside to him because I figured he was going to try to turn on a fastball. So he would sit and look at it.
Yeah.
I missed inside. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to throw a cutter because I'm not throwing hard anymore. And that cutter turned into a slider and went way down.
Yes.
And I was like, geez, okay. So I threw a 4-seam fastball. Maybe I was just too excited or something. Threw a 4-seam, got a strike.
Yep.
So I'm 2-1. And then I'm like, okay, throw my cutter again. Threw my cutter, it broke just enough where he just got under it. And, because I've been practicing the last 2 weeks just throwing a little cutter. And I think I don't know, the first, cutter I threw after the curveball, I think maybe I just got a lot of it or something, and it turned into a slider. I wasn't trying to make that much of a break. And I threw it, and I was like, dude, that's taking off.
Yeah.
So, and I wasn't expecting that. I was just expecting like a 3-4 inch cutter. That's it. So that's kind of what happened.
If he had gotten a hit, I have to ask, how many batters do you think you had in you, just in your arm? How many pitches do you think you really had in you if you had to, go a few extra?
Occasionally I'll throw batting practice to some guys. So I could go out there and throw BP. That's not an issue. I could probably throw 50, 60 pitches. There's just not going to be much behind it. That's why I was working on just throwing I could always throw a 4-seam, but trying to throw a little cutter. It's basically a fastball, and it just moves a little bit. So it gives the hitter, they think it's going to be right here, and then it's over there.
Yeah. So you get the fly out, and then you do the floss dance. Again, spur of the moment or planned in advance?
No, that was a plan. I actually was like, I don't know what they're going to have me do. I didn't tell anybody. I'm like, and then I told my kid, I said, I hope I strike him out. But whatever I do, I'm going to dance on the mound. I'm going to do the floss. So, and I was like, well, that's my one time to do it. So it'd be kind of cool if somebody actually in the All-Star game or something, they strike somebody out and they kind of floss. And be like, see, that was me. Yeah, I started that. But I don't know. I just wanted to have some and just do some kind of tidbit and dance. I was really hoping I'd get a comebacker to me or strike the guy out, and then I could really do it. But I got to pop up, so I'm like, I'm going to floss for a while, and then I would go in.
Absolutely. I do have to ask, did you get together with Trevor at all after you guys had both pitched, talk about your experiences, grab a beer? I mean, what was the camaraderie like there, post-pitching appearance?
We talked on Saturday before he went down there. He had his kids there that are all grown up that I used to play and run around. And, I think nowadays we don't necessarily go have beers together. It's more like, let's go to the family. But beforehand, we'll sit there and we probably talk for a good, hour or so about just, his kids growing up, my kids growing up, what they're doing. They're getting married now. They're having their own kids. What it's like playing, because this is my third time playing banana ball. Yeah. And Trevor was like, okay, what are the rules? Like, if I throw the ball to the backstop, they can steal, on a pass ball, and there's no bunts. Like, he was asking all these questions, and it was just good. We were just chit chatting, and some old times and new times, and I think we talk more about family than baseball. So, but it was a good time. Had a really good time seeing him and seeing his boys. It was awesome.
Two Padres legends appearing for the Savannah Bananas at Petco Park. Realistically, the best, most exciting moments that have taken place at Petco Park probably in the last week or so. Again, Padres did secure an extra inning win on Monday. Give them credit for that, but on the whole, this has been a rough stretch. As we talked about, they have lost 11 of 16. They have lost 4 of their last 5 series. The cushion they built up in the wild card race is starting to shrink a little bit. They are falling further and further back of the Dodgers. Now they've got to turn it around, starting with this series against the Rockies, a 4-game series at home. We will see if they're able to do that. Heath, thank you so much for joining me once again. We appreciate your expertise and insight, as always.
All right, let's go Pods. Figure it out, man.
All right, everyone, that'll do it for another edition of Friar Territory here on the Foul Territory Network. Go ahead and give us a review, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, whatever platform you're watching and listening on. We'd love to hear from you. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out big time. We've enjoyed covering the Padres this season, and we are going to continue doing it no matter how far they get all the way through the offseason, and we need your support to do it. So make sure and do that. Go ahead and check out friarterritoryshop.com. We have all sorts of great swag, lots of places you can support the show. We appreciate all of them. For Heath Bell, I am Kyle Glaser. Thank you for watching and listening. We will be back on Friday.